step 2 of the outside inspection of the vehicle. In outside inspection, we're going to start from the top to the bottom of the vehicle. Make sure that everything's intact, top to bottom, left and right. On the top, you have the clearance lights. Clearance lights are mounted and secure, the correct color, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. Then you have the destination sign. The destination sign is mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have the loading, the 2 red loading signs, which is mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. And then you have the warning sign, the warning lights, which is mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have the windshield. The windshield is not cracked, damaged, or broken, mounted and secure, no illegal stickers. The registration and inspection is up to date. You have the right side view mirror and convex mirror. Mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, no damage, working properly. You have the right crossover mirror. Bracket is mounted and secure, no damage, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have your right turn signal, proper color, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have your right headlight, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly, no damage, mounted, working properly. You have your hood, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly, no missing parts or pieces. Also, you have your windshield wipers, very important. Windshield wipers are mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces. You have your grill. The grill is mounted properly, no damage, no missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have your license plate. License plate is mounted and secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces. You have your front bumper. No damage, no crashes, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. You have your your left headlight, working properly. No damages, missing parts or pieces, working properly. Your left turn signal, mounted properly, mounted securely and properly, no broken, missing parts or pieces, cracks, or damages, working properly. You have your left crossover mirror. Left crossover mirror, mounted secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, working properly. Side view mirror convex, mounted secure with the convex, working properly. You also want to come to the front of the bus and make sure that front of the bus is not leaning to one side or another, and that there is nothing leaking on the bottom of the bus, and that there's no damage underneath the When you come to the side, release the hood latches. Both sides, come to the front. Safely open the hood. Pull back on it. This is the under the hood inspection. Under the hood inspection, you have your air filter. Your air filter has a sight glass, which you can see that is clearly operational and still good for use. It's mounted properly. There is no mounted properly. There's no damage, broken, missing parts or pieces. The hose is not leaking. You have your alternator. Your alternator is belt driven. The belt driven alternator should not deflect more than 3/4 of an inch when you tug against the belt. You have your fan. Your fan should not have any missing blades, parts, or pieces, and that should also be mounted securely. Then you have your radiator. Your radiator should also be mounted securely and properly. The radiator should also not have any leaks, damages, or broken, missing parts or pieces. Then you have your vehicle frame. Your vehicle frame should not have any illegal welding, missing bolts, parts, or screws.
The water pump.
Oh, you also have your water pump. Your water pump should not. Your water pump should also not be.
This is the water pump.
Your water pump should also not be. Should also be mounted secure. mounted securely, no broken, missing parts or pieces, and that is also belt driven. That belt should also not give you more than 3/4 of an inch of deflection when touched. You also have your windshield wiper fluid. Your windshield wiper fluid should be mounted securely, not leaking, cap secure, and working properly. Then you also have your front and rear spring mounts. The spring mount should be mounted secure, no broken, missing parts or pieces, and working properly. You also have your spring leaf. Your spring leaf should be mounted securely onto the spring mounts with no broken, missing parts or pieces, and working properly. Then you have your U-bolts. The U-bolts should be mounted properly, no broken, missing parts or pieces. You also have your shock absorbers. Your shock absorbers should be mounted properly on both top and bottom, not leaking, no broken, missing parts or pieces. Then you also have your brake wire, your brake hose. Your brake hose should be mounted securely to the brake chamber, and your brake hose should not be leaking. Your brake chamber should also not be leaking. Your brake chamber is linked to the push rod and the shock absorber. Your push rod, your shock absorber should not give you more than 1 inch of play when pulled against it. The shock absorber is then connected to the brake lining or the brake shoes. The brake shoes should not be worn dangerously thin, and should be mounted securely, no broken, missing parts or pieces. Your brake shoes are then connected to the brake drum. Your brake drum should not have any dents, cracks, or bulges.
No oil or no grass.
No damages, no oil or no rust in the brake drum. Then out to the tire. The tire should be evenly worn on all sides. The tire should have no less than 432 tread depth in the tire. The tire, the outside is smooth. There should be no cuts, bulges, or tears on the outside of the tire.
No recut.
No recuts also.
No.
And proper tire pressure.
Proper
tire pressure. 100 psi.
100 psi.
You have your rim. Your rim should have no illegal welding. The lug nut should be tight. There should be no signs of any rust. That's how you can tell whether any of the lug nuts is loose. You also have your valve stem. Your valve stem should be straight and centered. Then you also have your hub seal. The hub seal should not show any signs of any spraying around it, and that should also be securely mounted securely and properly and working properly. You also have your mud flaps. The mud flaps should be mounted secure, working properly, no damage, no broken, missing parts, no damage. Let's head over to the driver's side. Onto the driver's side. All your hoses, connections, and wires should be connected and mounted properly. No broken, ripped, or leaking parts or pieces. Then you have your transmission oil dipstick. Your transmission oil dipstick to check your transmission oil level. Then you have your engine oil dipstick, which will check your engine oil level. By checking these oil levels, you will have to remove the dipstick, clean the dipstick off, reinsert the dipstick, and read the level that the oil reads on the dipstick. It should be somewhere between add and full. Then you have your steering column. Your steering column should also be mounted and secure, properly greased with the U-jogs. The U-jogs should also be mounted to the power steering box. The power steering box should also have no leaks or tears in the hoses that are connected. Then you have your power steering reservoir. Your power steering reservoir, you can see right through it to make sure that you have the adequate level of fluid inside, and also the cap should also be tight and secure. Then you have your coolant. Your coolant should also be, you can read the inside level. It should also be mounted securely and properly, and the cap should also be tight. Then you have your pitman arm. You have your pitman arm here, which is also connected to the drag link by castle nuts and cotter pins. Then you also have the same thing over again. You have your the drag link. Then you have your spring mounts. Also, again, the spring mounts on this side also with your spring leaves, and those are tied down with the U-bolts securely, both front and back. Then you have your brake hose line that's connected to your brake chamber. Your brake chamber is then mounted securely and properly and connected to your push rod and your slack adjuster. The slack adjuster should also not give more than 1 inch of play. That is then connected to your brake shoe lining. Your brake shoes. Your brake shoes should not be worn dangerously thin and have no broken, missing parts or pieces. That is then connected to your brake drum. Your brake drum should also not have no broken, missing parts or pieces, mounted securely, have no oil or leak in the brake drum.
When you have it, drag link.
Drag link.
Y de other.
The other
Steering knuckle.
steering arm and steering knuckle.
Steering knuckle. Y the other, on the bar over there.
Is the tie rod.
Tie rod end.
Tie rod, and what else?
Tie rod end. That's
The
it.
tie rod and the tie rod end.
Yeah. Okay. And ahí da. Oh.
And the shock absorber again here.
The more important thing, you have two more important things. Air compress.
Air compressor.
Air compress and the water power steering pump.
Okay, so the air compressor is here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the power steering pump is underneath.
Yeah.
That goes to this.
Yeah.
Okay, power steering pump. Okay, that's good. You taught me that. Okay, this is.
So the two
Are
parts.
those belt driven?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Belt driven also, right?
Both.
Okay, so this is the air compressor and power steering
Power
pump.
to the pump.
Okay,
Mhm.
air compressor and power steering pump.
Okay. That's okay. Very good. Now continue with
You outside?
the outside.
Okay, so now we on to the side of the bus. The side of the bus, we're gonna begin from the front to the back, top to the bottom. We're gonna make sure your handle is securely mounted, no broken, missing parts or pieces. You also have your step. Your step is securely mounted, no broken, missing parts or pieces. You're gonna make sure your service door is fully operational, hinges are intact, glasses are not broken, everything is in working order. You also have, make sure your stairwell is free of debris, no broken, missing parts or pieces, and the stairwell light is the proper color and operational. Then on the outside, you have your fuel tank. Your fuel tank is operational, working properly, and the cap is also tight. It's working properly. From the top to the bottom, you have your clearance lights on the top. It should be red on the end, amber in the middle. You have your reflector stickers, hazard lights, reflector tape, and reflectors on the bottom. Those should all be in place. The mirror should be free of any broken, missing parts or pieces, any damage, any illegal stickers or anything, any graffiti, and this should also be clear and operational. Then you have underneath the middle of the vehicle. Underneath the vehicle, you have three very important components of the middle of your vehicle, which is three letters: D, E, F. D, E, F. D is for the drive shaft, which runs down the whole down the middle of the vehicle. We also have the second one is E, which is your exhaust, which is your muffler. You should also make sure that your muffler is fully operational. There is no soot patterns on the muffler, which shows that there's a hole. If you have any soot patterns, you should also check to make sure that there is no. You should also check and listen for loud noises, which would indicate that there is a hole or damage to the muffler. And the last one, F, is the frame. The frame is the chassis. It runs as a support system from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle, which holds the bus up and forward. You should also make sure that is mounted securely and properly, has no damage to your illegal welding. And now, back to the back of the bus. The back of the bus has the same kind of components as the front. It is you have your suspension, your brakes, and your tires. You have your spring mounts, the bushings. You have mounted securely and properly, working as designed, working properly. You have your spring leaf. The spring leaf is being held up by the spring mount. And you also have your U-bolts. The U-bolts is what holds down the spring leaf. And you also have the U-bolts. You have your shock absorbers. The shock absorbers should be mounted properly on top and bottom, not missing any parts or pieces, and not leaking. You also have your airbags. Those should also be properly mounted and not leaking and working properly as designed. You also have your brakes. You should make sure you check your brake hose. Make sure that's mounted securely and properly, tied down. There's no broken missing parts or pieces or no leaks. The brake chamber. Brake chamber is mounted properly. No broken missing parts or pieces. Your push rod and your slack adjuster should be mounted properly. No broken missing parts or pieces. No more than 1 inch of play. You have your brake lining. Your brake lining and your brake shoes. Your brake shoes and your brake drum. Your brake drum should not have any broken missing parts or pieces, dents, cracks, or damages, and it should not have any oil on the inside. You should also make sure you check the tire pressure on both. These two are not able to have any more than 230 seconds. 230 seconds of no less than 230 seconds of tread depth. Proper PSI should be at 100 PSI. You have your gaps between the dual tires. There should not be anything, any obstructions or debris in between the two. You should also make sure that you can locate your valve stem, the front and the rear. And you should also make sure that your lug nuts are also tight in all sections. Make sure that there's no rust patterns, and also your hub axle. Your hub axle should also not have any spray patterns, and everything should be mounted securely and properly. The mud flap should be securely and properly mounted. No broken missing parts or pieces. And
the airbag again.
Excuse me?
Airbag brake.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned before, but
yeah.
You have it complete.
The airbag brake.
Okay. Lo dejamos ahí entonces. Okay.
All right, now we have the rear of the bus. The rear of the bus, you have your warning lights mounted securely properly. You have your destination sign mounted securely properly. You have your warning and loading signs mounted securely properly. No damage, cracks, broken, or missing parts or pieces. You have your left and your right turn signal mounted properly. No broken, missing parts or pieces. You have your brake light, broken, missing parts or pieces. Working properly. You have your reverse lights mounted securely. You have your tail lights mounted securely. No broken, missing parts or pieces. You have your license plate mounted securely. Very important. Mounted securely. No broken, missing parts or pieces. And your license plate light. And you also have your bumper. No damage. No broken, missing parts or pieces. You must also check the muffler. Make sure everything is intact, your tailpipe and everything is in order. And you also check emergency exit door. And it's fully operational from the outside. It opens